Good morning. On this Sunday morning, we begin the portion of Ki Teitzei. Ki Teitzei Lamechama Alevecha. The verse starts with this: when you go out to war upon your enemies, Unisanai Hashem Alikecha Biyadecha, and God will deliver them into your hands. V'shavisa Shivya, and you will capture captives. The Baal Shem Tov asks a question and gives a beautiful interpretation that I think is very relevant to the war that Israel is fighting now, and also in the metaphorical war, in the war that every Jew and every human being fights, between spiritual over matter, between good over evil. The Baal Shem Tov asks, why does it say when you go out to war upon your enemies? Should it not say when you go out to war with your enemies? What does it mean upon them? And the Baal Shem Tov says like this, that when a Jew goes out to war, they have to know that they're upon. They have to know that they have to hold their heads high, to know that they're fighting a just war, a war to protect every single Jew all over the world, a war to stop rape and murder and killing and hate, a war to protect the citizens of Israel. When you go with your head held up high, and you know that God is with you, and you have the faith that you need, then God will deliver them into your hands. It's all about the perspective. It's all about that paradigm shift and how we go to war. It's all about the confidence we have in who we are. We can't let the media and the haters and those anti-Semites get to us, the college students, and say, 1 second, maybe this, maybe that. Or we see the Hollywood stars that think they're stars, and so many Jews amongst them who literally spew anti-Semitism, even the Jews. But when a Jew knows that that you go to war with God on your side, that you're fighting for you're fighting to protect the Jewish people who have been victims of anti-Semitism for thousands of years, then God will deliver them in your hands. But there's also a spiritual part. When you go out to war against your evil inclination, the Chassidic masters tell us that each one of us has two souls within us fighting to control how we behave. Selfless soul and the animalistic material soul. How do we conquer our temptations? How do we overcome the selfishness and become more selfless? How do we dull our materialism and engage in more spirituality? So the answer, of course, is that we have to use our God-gifted soul, the Neshama Elikis, the divine soul that each and every one of us has, and to use it to see things from a more spiritual perspective, from a more godly perspective, less about I and more about we, less about what's going to be temporary pleasure and more about what's going to be the will of God and something that's going to last. You see what's going on in Israel, demonstrations, and a country divided. The way for us to overcome this is we have to supersede the differences and the divisions and know that we all are directed by one God who loves and cares about every single Jew. And then God will deliver them in our hands. Have an awesome day and a great weekend.